it was pretty much do or die because the studio kind of became a white elephant. Because
Yeah.
even if you think about it, a lot of the work was external, which did not require having a physical space. So, and also there was a backlog of overheads that needed to be paid.
Yep.
Because even though there's no revenue, there's still like wages to be paid. We have staff. We've got one staff, and we didn't want to let him go because it's not fair, man. I mean, it's
He's your boy.
yeah, and it's just cruel. Like, I'm sorry we're not making money, so it's no money for you either. That's just bad.
Was there
Shouldn't do that.
and was there anything from a government? Because back home in the UK and Ireland, a lot of the governments were paying. They got sort of kind of like a stipend. It was like 70% of
Yeah,
whatever your previous year's wages were. The government
right.
would pay that. Was there anything from the Malaysian government in that regard that helped
Uh,
the businesses go
I
towards the wages of your staff?
I did not get the wages thingy. We had a I think we didn't have to pay EPF for that period. But wages was just on us to pay. If we wanted to reduce the pay or whatever, that was up to us. But we decided not to do that because it just wasn't fair. We did get a one-time payment of I think it was 3,000 something like that, just a one-time payment,
Yeah,
which was nothing.
yeah.
Barely much, yeah. Wow.
It's kind of to be fair, it's disgusting the amount like because we know the amount of money that travels about in Malaysia. I've never seen in so much display of wealth in any country in my entire life. I mean, it's everywhere, and like the fact that they can't in these sort of emergency situations where they can't help the the public, like it's fucking really really bad. It's just not good. Like, and we all know where the money goes, unfortunately.
I suppose that's a topic for a different.
Not
Yeah.
not for this
That,
pod,
that
not for
that's
this
an entire
podcast.
series by itself.
Yeah, not for, definitely not for a music podcast. But it is just depressing that in these sort of
Yeah.
emergency scenarios, at least good business owners like yourself, high and
Yeah,
dry, like high and dry, like
I mean, even in my circles on Facebook or whatever social media silo that we're in, I've got a lot of musicians in my circle, and I've seen a lot of people really struggling. A lot of people, trying to make a living doing live forward. Yeah, a lot of people just started selling the instruments. A lot of people started going to F&B, cooking from home, and doing food delivery just to make ends meet. Brandon, you did that.
I
Yeah.
did it.
Brenda.
Honestly, like
I did that as well.
it worked, lah. It actually worked for a while
Yeah.
because then when the
It
pandemic,
works.
hit, we just didn't know what was going to happen.
It works for a finite period of time from home. The
Yeah.
F&B because you for the fact that finite couple of months you got your friends backing you up, but that only works for a certain length of time. Then it's either expand or die, and when you want to expand, then the second lockdown came in and everything was done within a 10-kilometer thing. So if you're trying to sell food to your friends within a 10-kilometer radius, you're sort of fucked.
But see, this is what I think about the whole situation, right? When your main source of revenue is not happening anymore, and then you move into something like F&B, you're cooking from home and you're selling food.
Yeah.
That's a great move. You're doing something, you're providing a need to which there is always a market, and at which point you could go back to your usual job, you can. But things like selling off your instruments and just complaining that there's no work and expecting handouts. I mean, that's fine for the first few months where you're still in denial and you're angry and all that. But in the long run, I'm sorry, lah, guys, but it's just you gotta get your head on straight. This is happening.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't just sit and whine about it. It's
Yeah.
happening.
Yep.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And like for me at that point, I saw my studio as a liability because it was not generating revenue, but I had to upkeep it. I had to
Yeah.
upkeep the business. I had to upkeep the staff. There was a lot of money going out. I was fortunate that there was some money coming in from elsewhere, but I had to keep this thing alive. And I thought of letting go of the studio, but then I thought about it. I took a step back in the bigger picture. That would be akin to me being a musician selling off my instrument.
Mm.
Or
You know?
it would be like
Definitely.
as a pianist cutting off your hands. Because they
Yeah.
keep yourself going. Like it may sort you out for the short term, but
Mm.
where are
Yeah.
you going to be when you need to start up again?
Your tools. Yeah. Yeah. True. Wow,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because we know this is only going on for a finite period of time. It ain't going on
Mm.
forever. It is a finite period of time. But
Touch
like,
wood.
Mm.
so
No, touch wood.
where are you? Like, have you
Like
got to
that.
sold off your studio and then you have to start up again?
Oh
You
man,
you,
that
you
would
would
be.
never start up again. Like,
No, not gonna happen, man, because we don't have that kind of money. You see hotels closing down because they don't
Yeah.
want to spend hundreds of thousands a month, paying their wages and all. But they can just close up and start again whenever they want. They have the
Yeah.
capital. We don't.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man.
So,
Yeah.
what's your outlook as a business owner? How do you see it going now at the moment?
Okay. The straight up. This is
No,
really
be
what I
be
think.
honest. Be honest. Be honest.
Yeah. Okay. This lockdown was, if you look at silver linings, this was the best thing to happen to businesses because it sped up in 1 year. It sped up what should have been 5 years worth of
Learning,
development and growth.
learning.
That's
Yeah,
true.
The whole digitization process that would have taken 5 to 10 years happened in 1 year
yeah.
Yep.
Not
because of the lockdown.
I don't even not even just that. That was one benefit. The second benefit is the education for musicians in as far as their finances and their savings and where their income streams are coming from. They ain't going to make these mistakes again. This will
Yeah.
never happen again. Like musicians have learned to diversify themselves
You
extremely,
have to.
extremely well.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so like, because we know loads of our like I know people who are horror stories. Some of the most abang of musicians, all the fucking, some of them, and they've been in the industry 30 years. I've been struggling. I'm thinking, but you've been getting regular high end work for as long as you've been around. Where's your savings and stuff like that there? But
Yeah.
I don't think any of them did.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
just, it was just, oh, it'll be okay, la, sort of fucking thing, like. So, but we all got help. Like, if it wasn't for Marina, I'd be fucked. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Marina anyway. Like, so like that's a completely different story. Like, but like Marina was my hero throughout this last year. Like, she kept this fucking household going. Like, so like I've got all the respect. Always had all the respect, but she was the fucking boss lady. Like, so which is great. Like, so, but yeah. But yeah, it made everybody learn hard,
Yeah.
quick, as you said, man, hard and quick.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like you said, how Marina was keeping the household afloat. There was a few months where there's absolutely no revenue from my side, and we had to dig into my wife's. When my wife was working, she had a substantial EPF saved up, so
Yeah.
that actually got us through a few difficult months.
Yeah, same,
So
same, exactly the same. It made you quite. Obviously, it made all question ourselves as men. Like, you like, what the hell, what's going on? But also made you
Yeah.
made you just look. You get to
No,
respect.
it's teamwork.
You get
It's
to
teamwork.
respect. Yeah, you get to respect your wife even way more than you
course.
did. Like,
Mm.
it's like, and any marriage that survived this last year will survive a lot of things. Like, because there's
That's
a lot
true.
of stress and everything.
yeah,
Right, who's got the dog, guys? Madan, is that your dog?
that's the dog behind. It's the next row. It's
Right.
it's really
okay.
far away. I don't know how it gets.
Sounds like it's at your feet.
That's to
I'm-
show
I'm
that
in-
we're real environment.
I'm in my room with my cat. This is my cat's room. The green room is the
Oh.
cat's room.
Your cat's got its own room.
Wow.
Yeah, they do.
Wow.
I don't have an office at home, but the cats have a room.
Okay. Okay. So now we've got the whole fucking COVID thing over with us. Let's take back to your youth and your musical journey, because you're not
Yes.
only a business owner and a sound engineer, you're also a musician. Styrus.
Yeah.
I pronounced that wrong.
Citrus.
Citrus.
Citrus, like citrus, but citrus.
I apologize. Anyway, so you're a musician. So
Billy Ray Citrus.
take us through your musical journey. When did the bug hit you, and who had it?
Right. So that pretty much it. When I was 15, I got my first guitar from my neighbor. She just gave me a guitar, and Yeah, man, I never stopped playing. Never stopped playing. So
Wow.
wanted to be a musician ever since. Actually, I wanted to be a musician before that, but then I got my guitar and I actually learned how to play it. That changed a lot of things. So by the time I finished school, SPM, I had to pick a course to take to go to college, right? So I picked audio engineering because it was the closest thing to music, and I mean that was a nice enough fallback plan as a musician. And if I don't make it, there's still
Yeah, where you could tell
so,
your parents, I'm not
yeah,
just going to be a musician.
yeah,
I've got and I'm going to be an
Plan B.
engineer. I'm going to be an
yeah,
engineer.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. So I went to SAE. That was between '03 to '05. Graduated in '05. Um, See, the thing about education in this kind of creative field is that it's a very personal experience. I can tell you that every single person in my class, it was a small class, like 14 of us. Every single person, every single one of us had a different experience. It's what you choose to take back.
Of course.
Most of them, I think only 3 or 4 from my class are still in the industry. Everyone else went on to something else. And it really depends on what you take back from it and what you want to do with what you take back.
Very self-driven lah. It's gotta
You,
you gotta
it
be yeah.
has to be
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I did a HND in music production. Like I actually got after my music production, I actually got into SAE in London and LIPA, the Paul McCartney Institute of Performing Arts, but I never went, which is a sort of a regret. But I ended up getting a degree in masters and other things. But yeah, there's our class was about 15 as well. But like there was always only two or three in the class who were the people who were going to end up being in the industry for life, and you know them. Everybody else sort of like they're there to kind of trade water,
Yeah.
smoke dope, chill out for a
Become
Yeah,
day.
insurance salesman after that.
yeah. No, yeah,
That's what.
You know the
you're
two.
absolutely right.
You know the two or three. They're the people who sleep in the studio. They're the people who are still there at 9 o'clock at night, fucking like still mixing or editing or just trying to figure out some new stuff. Or like I did, my summer holidays. I just asked the head of the department, "Do you mind I just come in my summer holidays and just hang out at the studio?" And he goes, "Yeah, of course, come on, just come on." Which
Yeah,
I
man.
did.
When I left SAE, I held the record for most overnight sessions, and I think I held the record for a few years after that.
Nice. This was
Yeah.
SAE when it was in Taipan, is it? Or no?
This was USJ 9, just after
Oh, you're
Taipan.
saying Taipan. Okay, okay. Ben's Beaches actually.
What
When
did
I first joined, we actually found some time there. I think Ben was it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we set up and you know what blew me away? There was a guy without arms. I don't know if I've told this
Oh
story
yes,
before.
yes. She was my senior. I
Oh damn!
forgot his name. Yeah.
Okay, so you know this guy, yeah.
Yep.
what did you have
Power.
studio wise? Like, what was your main studio?
Sorry.
Sorry, what?
What was your main studio at SE? What did you have equipment
Uh,
wise? That's right. What were
oh,
you running?
they had 2 rooms. They had a 8-track room and a digital room. 8-track had a Mackie 16.8
Wow.
running into a hard disk recorder. So that was as analog as it got, like no
We
screens,
had
nothing.
we
Yeah,
had
that was a pretty analog setup. I think I
Yeah.
used one
Nice.
also. Yeah.
I was at my college at the same time. We had our main studio had a 48 channel Soundtracks GDS, which was
Right.
inline flying fader automation, but
Oh,
was all
nice.
running the Pro Tools, but was all run off 4 ADAT machines and
Mm.
one it was DigiDesign. Wasn't Avid back then. It was a DigiDesign 808. I think the 8 channel one, and then 8 channel that was 8 channels of AD
Right.
conversion, and then
Right.
there was 4 other ADATs providing the
Right.
other amount of ADD conversion, which is just anybody knows that an ADAT machine is essentially an audio recorder, but it's like a videotape. It's just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
big giant videotape.
Big ass one.
Yeah, so
I still have one lying around somewhere.
so
Nice.
so
The
yeah,
relic.
it was kind of hybrid because we were doing Pro
The
Tools, but it was on
it
the
the
ADATs are analog.
it's digital. It's digital. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, well, you didn't have to chop up the fucking ADATs, which is good,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. But
Yeah.
yeah, our studio was quite good. But like
That was
Like you,
That's a good setup, man. We had I think our Pro Tools was like a 002 or 003 or something like that. It's nothing close to what you had.
we got the first G5 in Europe when it
Oh,
first came out, and it never worked. We had to get the Apple specialists in from Europe to try and fix it, and it would never fucking work. It just kept crashing. But I think it was more a Pro Tools problem, like
right.
because fucking trying to operate Pro Tools with anything, they would crash, sneeze, Pro Tools crashes, like so.
Oh well.
But anyway,
That was the.
so you graduated from SEE
Mm.
and straight into business or straight into someone else's?
Straight. I had an opportunity to join 3 other friends who had an existing studio, just need another partner. They needed an engineer. None of them were engineers.
Oh,
What were they?
3 partners. What they do?
Okay, so one guy owned the building, so he had an office in the front. He was in oil and gas, so he had a bit of money. And there was a whole half the floor which was not being used, so he built the studio there just for fun, for his
Just for
friends who
fun,
can.
build the studio.
Yeah,
As you do, like
oil and gas. Yeah, the money.
Wow. But did he build the studio properly, or is it just like a whack something?
Macam jamming studio lah, bro. Like 8
okay.
curtains on the
Okay, good.
So I went in. I brought in some. I think I brought in like monitors or something like that. This all Elysis monitors and audio monitors. Yeah, some crap. There was already an existing test cam, some U series 4-channel interface or something like that. Nothing fancy. We used Sony Vegas and Cubase SX at the time. It was very basic,
functional.
Functional. It was really fun, and what was great was that graduating from SAE, the long-term plan, the long-term dream is to have your own studio, some place you call your own and build your career from there. And I had the opportunity right out of the gate to do that.
That's great.
Right, which was great. And but we were young and stupid, and there was no plan.
How old were you?
19. Yeah, 19.
19?
19.
Yeah.
Wow. Straight way out.
You don't need a plan at 19.
That's fun.
Let alone open your studio at 19. That's like
You
different.
don't need a plan at 19. You just need to.
Nice.
Oh, do you want to do this? Aye. Well, okay.
Come.
Exactly how it happened. Yeah. So I mean, needless to say, it was an epic fail, right? But fortunately, we didn't really have much overheads. Rent was kind of paid for. Whatever little money we made kind of went to like chipping in for the utilities, things like that. I think it goes without saying that we didn't take back any money. We just was one.
Wow. How long they last?
Less than a year. Less than a year.
Okay.
And
Do you have any other recordings?
Oh man, I might. I have a good habit of archiving things properly. So
Well, that's
I
good.
probably have it in an old hard disk or CDR somewhere.
Oh. I used to keep all my CDRs, and then one day I just went fuck all this. I'm never gonna.
He threw it all
I
away.
used to keep all my
Yeah.
I used to consolidate all my Pro Tools files, like proper
Right.
archiving, and keep them all in CDRs. And then one day I just cracked and went, no, I'm not doing this. Fuck all that.
Move to Malaysia.
Yeah.
Fuck all
And
that.
those CDRs don't last forever, man.
No,
That's
they
why.
don't.
That's true.
You
That's
try
true.
you try to load them on anything, they're just gonna go, nah, go fuck yourself, like go for it. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Because that's how
Yeah, so
that's basically how we used to archive back in the mid 2000s. You just archive
Yeah,
everything on
CDR.
CDRs, like
Yeah.
or DVRs.
So confident, huh? Wow. Then one day you turn on, there's nothing.
I can just see Steve Albini just stand there shaking his head, going, "That's fucking."
Oh my God.
Oh,
yeah, man.
man.
So by the end of that, I had to take a job, because
Damn.
I had to
Yeah.
start making some money, lah. But the thing is that I learned a lot from this because we were able to actually service proper real world clients with whatever little equipment we had. So I honed my skills as an engineer. I learned how it was in the real world, as opposed to doing an assignment in the school studio.
A very
So
controlled
that-
atmosphere, like in
Yeah.
school, which is it's like laboratory
Yep.
compared to real world.
Yep. So you meet all sorts of characters. That was the most important thing. Working with characters.
People skills.
Yeah,
You learn
yes.
people skills.
Yes,
Which
yes.
is because we always say 50% of a good sound engineer's job is people skills.
Dealing with
Uh,
weirdos, man.
Yeah.
You're in college, it's just one or two.